SolidWorks begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this part in XXXX grams? Both of our runners are grabbing a screen capture, and both of our runners are jumping into their CAD system to try to turn this into a 3D model. And like I said, the Wheel of Fate is very cruel today. We teed up a sheet metal manufactured part for the one guy in the tournament who probably does more sheet metal than anybody in the tournament, none other than Dom. But I don't actually know Lotos's sheet metal experience, so for all I know, he may also be a sheet metal wizard. Both of our runners starting with that shape from the side. Dom right away jumping into the base flange command. Pretty interesting. One thing you may have noticed about Dom's sketch there is that he's using offset sketch entities, and that's something that we do a lot in sheet metal to make it easier to take the max dimensions, because the customer in the 2D print maybe gives you a dimension that represents the max or represents a dimension, like one is to the inside face and one is to the outside face. So by getting in there and using those offset sketch dimensions, Dom really set himself up to be able to get those dimensions correct. And now look at this, opting to include both the cut extrude and the hole and those little notches for the tab up top in the same sketch. That's pretty interesting. That is not how I did it. I did it from the top to get those notches. So really interesting how quickly he was able to get that. Even got the fillets there in that sketch. Wow. Dom putting on an absolute clinic here. And we see Lotos on the left is no slouch. I don't mean to undercut the work that Lotos is putting in there, but wow. Dom just blasting through using all the tricks in the sheet metal book. Coming in with an answer, 1039 grams. And that is correct. And congratulations to Dom. Wow, wow, wow. Even showing us a flat pattern of that thing for extra points. Wow, wow, wow. And Lotos, that was a tough model. Like I said, Dom has quite a bit of sheet metal experience, and I think we all saw that in that. That was one of those models that, you know, with sheet metal, tier 3 sheet metal, sometimes they'll be a little bit on the easy side, especially if you've done a lot of sheet metal. But no, you know, not taking away anything that Dom is doing, and definitely not taking away anything Lotos did there. That was a fast battle. Wow, 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 guys. GG. Let's put a GG in the chat. GG to the winner. GG to both of our runners. That was fast. All right, guys. This is awesome. Just starting off with a bang. Rockcrawler says, gotta run. I'll catch the recap tonight. Thank you, Rockcrawler. Thanks for sticking with us. Speechless. Going to study that one later. Yeah, there was a lot of fantastic moves there from both Dom and from Lotos in that battle. But wow, wow, wow. That was really cool. Definitely Dom, maybe you could just show that. Oh, it's gone. Forget it. Maybe nothing. All right, here we go. Guys, back to the wheel. Let's find out what this next battle is going to be. You got to win 2 points to move on in this tournament. We saw Mr. Alex has secured his spot in the round of 8. Congratulations to Mr. Alex. You need to win 2 points to move on. Dom has 1 point, but he's up against our number 6 seed and our absolute speed modeling wizard in the world of speed modeling on the Too Tall Toby website. So Pizza Man 3000 says, I'm just starting to learn SolidWorks in college, but I have 5 years of on-shape experience, and I find the transition very difficult. Any tips to adjust? You just got to practice. That's my tip. Just keep practicing. Practice. That's what it's all about. Other than that, you know, look for the similarities. I mean, 3D CAD, you know, when it comes to doing 3D CAD, the workflow should be pretty similar regardless of the CAD system or like the methodology. And then it's just a matter of like getting those different keyboard shortcuts. One thing I did was I mapped a lot of my on-shape keyboards into SolidWorks to make it easier to go back to SolidWorks, because I'm learning on-shape too. So like when I begin a new sketch, instead of pressing Control 8 to get normal 2, I press N to get normal 2. That matches the default on-shape controls. So that's just a little advice for you there. Okay, here we go. Guys, Jim Mew thinks it's going to be number 8. He's solid at his clairvoyance. Mr. Alex 08, Pico Boo 1, John G 2, FPV Kev 3, Kraton thinks it's going to be 9, Sebastian 9, Turn 1. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm going to shuffle these before I spin it. Here we go. Shuffle, 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 and spin! Guys, what does the Wheel of Fate have in store for our runners? Okay. Challenge number 3. This is going to be a good one. I think we're going to see some pretty cool stuff in this one. So I'm excited when it comes to the world of Tier 3 challenges. I think this is going to be a really good one for our runners. Of course, as we go through this tournament, we're going to see the challenges get more and more difficult. We're going to see, you know, some more Tier 4. There are a couple of Tier 4s spread throughout this this wheel. But we're going to see, you know, we'll see some Tier 4s here in the round of 16. But the round of 16 is really where it's meant to kind of challenge people to really blast through these models. I like the fact that the models Mr. Alex did were still, it was really reliant on him using best practices. It was really cool to see Mr. Alex doing those because even though, you know, they were simple models, it was his use of best practices and particularly his use of symmetry that really helped him through that. So I think that's pretty cool when, you know, even when the models are fast when that happens. So, guys, again, huge shout-out to Lotos, our number 6 seed. Huge shout-out to Dom, our number 10 seed. Good luck to both of these guys. Shake it off a little bit. And let's go. Gray says, Lotos, let's go. If Lotos can win this point, then we will be going to a 3rd battle. And I know that's what everybody wants to see. So this next CAD vs. CAD battle in our World Championship of 3D CAD speed modeling, featuring Lotos from the Ukraine using Compass 3D, and Dom from the United States using SolidWorks, our number 6 seed versus our number 10 seed, begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? We are back to metric. That's what we like to see. Both of our runners are grabbing a screen capture of this print, and both of our runners are jumping into their CAD system and coming up with a strategy. So here we see on the right, we've got Dom, and on the left, we've got Lotos. And Dom is starting out looking down at the top, and wow, look how fast Dom was able to add those fillets to the corners. That was incredible. And that's going to be important because those slots are going to be concentric to those fillets. So getting those fillets in there, but I mean, he just did it with, geez, I don't even know. That was incredible. That was just incredible. Wow. Okay. And now, while using look like he used a plane there to do a mirror. He doesn't even have a center line there. He just used a plane. I didn't even know you could do that. And it looks like he's going to take this thing up to max height. And then he's going to try to come up with the geometry that's going through the middle here. So, Dom, congratulations. Well done on that, taking first blood on that extrusion. And he is really moving through this thing. Lotos on the right, on the left, creating this thing a little bit more in the style that I think I would have created it in, almost like an L shape looking in from the side. That's how I would have done it. You know, create that L shape, maybe cut out some of those pockets, and then you're good to go. But Dom taking a very different approach, and we're going to see if that works for him or if it ends up actually causing him some problems when he goes to cut this pocket down from the top. So all eyes on Dom right now to see how he handles this final feature. Looks like he's kind of tracing some of that geometry, and wow, just selected everything and now mirroring across that plane again. Holy smokes. This guy has some SolidWorks experience. Very, very impressive. And Gad in the chat says, I love Dom's approach. Yeah, very, very impressive. Pico Boo in the chat says, slow down, Dom. We can't keep up with you. So Dom turning this thing into, looks like into a, ooh, looks like he's turning it into something. Maybe running into a little, SolidWorks giving him a hard time. Oh, wow. So, wow, guys, make sure you go back and watch that. Dom had that sketch open. SolidWorks was trying to force him to make it a thin feature. And he said, nope, I'm just going to use contour selection. Wow, 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 wow. That is amazing. Holy smokes. And Dom looks like he may be coming in with an answer here. We're going to watch the chat. We're going to watch the chat. Wow, wow, wow. That was, guys, make sure you go back and watch it. That's like a clinic on how to repair a sketch. And Dom comes in with his answer, 387 grams. And that is correct. And we got ourselves our second winner, moving on to the round of 8. Wow, 387 grams is correct. And well done to Dom. That was absolutely incredible. I don't know if anybody in the tournament could have kept up with Dom on that run. Those were 2 models that were just, I mean, it was almost like he knew what the geometry was going to be for how fast he went through it. But this is these guys seeing these drawings for the very first time, and holy smokes, especially that second one. I mean, the first one was pretty cool. I don't think it was nearly as complicated as the second one, both in terms of number of features and also just kind of thinking through the model. And Dom was able to get through both of those. Guys, let's give a huge GG and a shout out in the chat to both of our runners. It is not easy to be here in this tournament, to be sharing your screen with everybody, to know that the world is watching, and to know that you are under that pressure. And I think that both Lotos and Dom did a fantastic job in that second half of the show. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to Jacob. You know, all 3 of our other runners today